Hey gang, welcome back to an update on one of the Viewers Projects videos. If you go back to, I believe it was number 7 in a series, Ted, who has a 68 fastback that he had bought basically in boxes. Somebody had started on the project, taking it all apart, lost interest or whatever, and he ended up getting this car. Now Ted has been working on this thing for a while now, and he was going to do some upgrades, I believe, to the frame, basically putting in a frame stiffener. And he ran into some problems. So I'm going to let Ted explain to you what he found.
Hey guys, it's Tuesday, March 24th. Quick update on the 68 Mustang GT Fastback. We had good weather up here this weekend, so I took the time on Saturday to get the engine bay and the front clip painted in a semi-gloss or semi-satin black. Came out pretty good, happy with it. So from there, I took out, I have, when I got the car, I also got the a TCP X support, what is the X brace and everything for the suspension to stiffen the car up. And Sunday I looked at putting that in. It's a pretty nice one. It's got the rail stiffeners and the the cross member, all the parts. You know, the rail stiffeners, you can see that unfortunately it looks like a lot of the powder coating is flaking off. You know, again, this came with the car. Probably was laying somewhere where it was wet, as far as I know. So right now I'm in the process of also putting together the front end, getting the parts on there, and everything is painted. Now we're gonna have the it's all original, it's all mostly original style, not really anything new on there other than maybe the lower control arms and the ball joints. And I've rebuilt the calipers. Those are rebuilt, so hopefully they go on, hopefully they work. That'd be great. But when I was looking at the installing the frame rail stiffeners for the TCP system, when I put them underneath the car, I realized I found out a couple of things about the car, stuff that was done before I got it, and so I'm paying the price for it. And one of the things that's wrong with it, if you get under the car, you could, I don't know if you could see, but whoever installed the frame, the floor stiffeners, they're not level. The one on the passenger side looks like it's a little bit higher. You know, I kind of had a feeling when I put the floor in because there was a hump in that area. So, I mean, you know, after I found out about that the other day and another problem, I was considering not even putting it in, but I think I'm going to modify it and probably kind of figure out the height of that. Wherever it ends up, it ends up. But the other problem is that if you look at the frame rails where they end, this frame rail here looks like it's too far backwards by an inch and a half or so. It really should end right here. And looking at the front of the frame rail, it doesn't go all the way up to the corner of the, the floor support doesn't go all the way up to the corner of the frame rail. So, like I said, I was thinking about abandoning it and not using it, but I think all I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end up just cutting this back a little bit, and folding the piece up, and tacking it all together nice and solid. I'm also going to have to split it because this frame, the floor stiffener support, is also wider than the pocket in the rail connector. So I'm going to modify. I think I am going to end up putting it in. It was just going to be more work than I want to do, than I planned on anyways. So that's where we're at with this car right now. Just a little update. And that's about it. I hope everybody's being safe. You know, I know I took the week off from work to try to do my part to keep this virus from spreading. And again, we have good weather today, so I'm going to take advantage of it. All right, everybody, have a good day. Goodbye. Painted the engine compartment last Saturday. Spent this week putting all the suspension back together as much as I can. Waiting for the bolts for the steering box. I don't have those. Started with the wire, with the brake lines. I'm gonna look and see if I have a fastener kit in the boxes of the stuff that the guy had. Shocks. I gotta wait for. I need a support. I have the original 2-piece one, but I'm gonna get a 1-piece for firewall support and everything. Probably the original rotors. I had those refinished. They returned just enough meat on those. Figured I might as well use them. Original calipers rebuilt. New pads, new hardware. Also, in the last video I made, I talked about the support, frame rail support system that's under the car. I was not sure if I wanted to use it. But I decided to go and go ahead and use it, and I installed that. Probably took me 2 days to do. So it actually really came out really good. It's all in place. The only thing is those 2 bolts. I replaced the other 2 on the inner side. They're probably like about 1/4 of an inch too short because I ended up using all the shims that came in the kit. Actually, the welds came out pretty good. You know, it's kind of hard welding with the flex core welder. You know, a lot of this metal is dirty. Some of it is galvanized, I believe. But the welds came out really good, being upside down and everything. I ended up cutting both of the backs of the floor supports in order for this section here to ride up in. They would be back here. And I'm not sure if that's required in the kit. I don't have any instructions that came with it, so like I said, I ended up cutting them and boxed them back in with metal just to give them more support. But generally overall, really happy with it. Came out good. I will, next time, if I do another car, you know, after dealing with the floor on this one, and the floor support's not exactly being true, I think I would have saved a whole lot of time by doing a floor, a complete floor from the drop-off panel back there all the way up. It would have saved me a lot of time. This floor is a little rough, but you know, it's going to be covered with carpet and seats, so it's sturdy. Not going to be anything wrong with it. It just doesn't, it's not as pristine on the bottom as you would want it to be. So, well, that'll be it for now. Take care.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. You run into a problem that basically somebody else created. And in Ted's case, he's adapting to overcome the situation. I can't say that I would have looked at the floor supports when I initially got the car. You know, you look underneath the car and you see it's got new floor supports. You're not going to think, well, are these put in the right way, or are they in the right location? So, as Ted pointed out, the passenger side is pushed up in the rear. Really not much you can do at this point because everything else is welded in. The driver's side, offset to the rear 1.5 inches, I think he said. So he adapted and shortened it up so he could get those, get the frame connector in. But it's a great observation on things that can be out of place that you just don't know. I will point out Ted's doing a good job with the rest of the car. It looks like Ted's got the engine bay all cleaned up and painted. He's got all the suspension on the car, like he said. He's got it on the dollies to roll it around, and he's running brake lines. So that's all good. I'm not sure if he's going to leave the engine bay black or not. I assume that he is, but you know, if he's putting in brake lines, it's probably going to stay that color. But thumbs up to Ted for doing a great job and sharing this update with us. And if you're interested in being on this channel with Viewers Projects, please let me know. Send me an email and we'll go back and forth and see if we can't work it out. My email is joedaddysgarage@gmail.com. I do have some other videos to work on that I'm trying to get put together for the Viewers Project series, but I know Ted had sent this to me, I think back in March 24th, so I owe him the respect of getting it up here and showing you what's going on with his project. Otherwise, I want to thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, throw a thumbs up on there, leave a comment, but until next time, wash your hands, take care of yourselves, and take care of your families. See ya. Has a 68 Fastback that he bought. Now if you remember, Ted had bought this car, I believe it was in boxes and in pieces and all over. This is, now as Ted clearly pointed out, the passenger side floor support is not only interesting. You wouldn't expect something like that to be off, but you never really know. No. Well, that was an interesting find from Ted. I would not have expected a floor support to be off like that, so it's not something I would normally just look at. Oh. Hey. You're not moving. I got Andrew on the phone, Grease Rookie. Where'd he go?